Yeah, I know. I'm in the same boat. It's fun. All right. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Ben Redliner with the Attolo Podcast. This is going to be the first episode. I'm on here with my friend Grady Behrhorst. Today, we're just going to be talking a little bit about Grady's struggles and how the last year has been for him. And just to get started, we'll go over a little bit of background on, who is Grady Behrhorst,
That's me.
It's a good question.
I'm Grady Behrhorst, from Colorado.
Oh.
That's where I'm from. I'm a junior/senior in college. Got weird credits, so doing that. Outside of school, I'm hanging out with the boys and playing piano. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So take me back to like when you were in high school, like
High school,
senior year. You're about to go to college. Okay. You're picking where to go. Like, what are you thinking? Because we grew up in pretty
similar
different
areas.
Yeah, I feel like we grew
up
in rural areas, but I mean, I think like Colorado and Massachusetts.
Yeah, very different. Very different for sure.
But I think we have a lot of like the same tendencies.
Yeah,
which is
for sure.
Cool.
All right, high school was fire.
Yeah.
Senior year was like so sick. I mean, like it's awesome to be a senior in high school. You're like the shit.
Yeah.
And you're playing sports and everything's going great. Yeah. People are telling you what to do most of the time in your life, but you're just doing it. It was awesome. I don't know. I don't have much to say. I mean, just playing sports and girls and all the high school classic narratives went down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like one of the biggest things, like transitioning from high school to college, is like people are always telling you what to do. Like, you need to do this now.
Yeah.
Or this is going to happen. And like college, I think you feel things so much harder because you have so much of that pressure and everything's on yourself. You're making all these decisions. All these outcomes are because of decisions you made. And I think that's something that people struggle with.
So much independence, bro. Like, people are telling you what you can do your whole life.
Yeah.
This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you receive that independence. And now you have to be the agent. You have to, this is what I can do. This is what I can't do. And you got to hold yourself accountable to that. It's like, I mean, I'm still struggling with that. And it takes like a lot of,
trust me too.
So it takes so much time to figure out how to be an individual.
Yeah.
Which is what we're going through.
Yeah. And I think
everyone our age.
Yeah. Having those boundaries when you're younger and then like setting these expectations for yourself that are not unrealistic, but you have so much time and so much like you can do so much with your mind.
Yeah.
Like you can put your mind to anything and get it done. And like people say that and it's corny, but it's like that's so true. Like the boundaries are limitless.
Yeah.
They really are.
It's like, I mean, everyone says it. I don't know why, but like thoughts turn to thickness and like your mind is so powerful, bro. Like truly what you believe, even if you're deceived in what you're believing, like if you believe it, odds are it will come true in a certain way. Yeah. Which is awesome.
I agree. So let's talk a little bit about
about the mind.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the mind, but I do want to get into a little bit of like St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
So Grady committed to St. Lawrence for lacrosse.
Not true.
You didn't commit?
No, I didn't commit.
Oh.
I was trying to walk on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got that a little
but then I was trying to walk on to the soccer team too. So I was trying to do everything there.
Yeah.
But so I went to St. Lawrence for a semester. And it was awesome for like 3 weeks, it's like the honeymoon phase of college. And
absolutely.
You have your friends for the first 3 weeks who aren't your real friends. And then I got beat up. I got in a fight. It was really rough. And after that, I was like, I'm out of here because academically it wasn't the right fit anyways. Sports weren't happening. It was just, time to make a change.
Yeah. And obviously that's why we have Grady here.
Yeah.
He also goes to Emerson. But you got a concussion during that fight, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of what we're going to talk about is Grady's battles with injuries, specifically concussions. So if you want to talk a little bit about what happened last year, run us through it.
So, well, I've had 5 concussions. So I've had my fair share. But last year during one of our games, I tried to hit this kid. And it doesn't look like a big hit on the film, but it was just kind of awkward. Like my neck I just whiplashed myself. And I got my 5th concussion. And last year I like medically retired from lacrosse and contact sports. So
yeah. And I can't imagine what it was like for you.
Yeah.
It was difficult for me to like watch you as as your teammate and like as your friend. Like I care about you a lot, obviously. And just like seeing someone having to go through that, like you're 20 years old, you're 21 years old now, but 20 years old when it happened. And it's like, I'm about to turn 20 in 2 weeks. And like, I have to think about that, like maybe hanging up the cleats forever.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine like doing that.
Yeah.
And like you having to do that, just like, I think it sparked something in all of us and we were all just kind of shook by it. You know, not having you around is weird. Bring a lot of energy, obviously. Like you're a glue guy for sure.
Yeah.
Not having you around is weird. But to bring up Juwan's documentary, so Juwan Kim, a former teammate of ours, made a documentary about Pierce and Malcolm. Again, people you guys don't know, but if you guys look up Juwan Kim,
legends. They're
legends. If you guys look up Juwan Kim on YouTube, the documentary will come up, and there's a bit all about Grady and like what he's endured through these past couple of years. And I think it was difficult even for me to rewatch, and I know it was difficult for you to rewatch. I mean, like having to relive something like that must have had a little bit of an impact on you. So
I think that an aspect of what I went through last year is like I didn't just go through it last year, and it's kind of in many ways like a constant battle with the temptation of trying to play again, you know?
Yeah.
And a certain love that I have for competition that will never go away. And like, if I could, I'd like be there right now, you know? Yeah. And everything happens for a reason. And I don't think I've necessarily found the reason why that had happened to me yet, and why sports are taken away, even though I know it's in the long run the right decision. That decision that I've made isn't immediately justified, so that temptation of coming back always will be there, you know. So there's that aspect of it, and it's been a huge change, just like without having sports are like such a structure in your life, and they give you purpose in so many ways, and if you lose that, you gain a certain more independence, you know. Like you don't have to go to team lift, you don't have to go to these practices, and a whole lot of free time. You got to hold yourself accountable to whatever aspirations you have, and a certain part of losing athletics is realizing what other aspirations you have, and that's also kind of a difficult process to go through, you know.
I mean, I think like people always say, you know, sports are temporary. You know, there's life after sports, and unfortunately, not everyone goes pro. And if you go pro in lacrosse, it's it's pro lacrosse. So, I think having that taken away from you, but even before you're ready to, is like it sucks. But I think it's gonna help you so much because now you're actually finding out who you are, and like a lot of the struggle when people graduate college, and like if you're a D3 athlete or D2 athlete, D1 athlete, and you're not playing anymore, it's hard. It's hard to figure out who you are. And like even me, the last year, I'm in college. It's like, wow, lacrosse is not everything. I'm not trying to go get recruited anymore. Like this is it. This is the next 4 years of my life, and it's going to take me to wherever I need to get. But I think you having accountability and like getting all this stuff done and finding out who you are is a lot of what sports has taught you over the years. And I think that's something that you have to take and carry with you.
I mean, I'll definitely carry the teamwork and leadership aspects of competition with me for the rest of my life. And it is unique because competition in itself, like being on a team, there is like that comparative aspect to it, and you're comparing yourself to opposing teams, you're comparing yourself to your teammate, you're comparing yourself to yourself yesterday, and when you lose that competition in a certain way, you still have that mindset, but you're in a different avenue of life where that comparison isn't necessarily to your advantage, you know. and it can be unhealthy in that way. And like when I'm riding my bike to school right now, it's like I'm beating I'm racing the fucking cars, you know, like, and that aspect of it is it's so powerful, and it's beneficial in your life, and it takes things away in your life to just be so competitive and such a competitive person. But there's just that aspect of losing sports that I think it'll be with me my whole life.
I completely agree. I think like what I've also gone through a lot with lacrosse and in high school, and I've been fortunate enough to have great coaching throughout my life, and you know, I have struggled with some injuries. The reason that this podcast didn't come out a couple weeks ago is because I got strep throat. Weekend after that, I broke my finger, and then I got sick again. And we had Halloween, so
Halloween was awesome.
Yeah, we were a little bit distracted.
This is where Halloween happened, right here.
Halloween,
the backyard.
Where happened. Viewer discretion is advised for the trains. It's gonna get.
Hopefully, one goes by though. It'd be kind of.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. It's definitely gonna be pretty loud. Might mess up the audio a little bit. But,
whatever.
Yeah. So, how are you doing today? Like, what's it like today? What's a day in the life of Grady Behrhorst right now?
I mean, obviously, you lose that structure, so it's my days are looking pretty like ambiguous right now, and I'm waking up at random times most days. And I'm trying to figure out a schedule in which I can hold myself accountable to. But in a certain way, it is liberating and a unique experience to not have things to be accountable to, and really kind of just go with the flow of your desires, you know? Like I'm waking up whenever I want. I'm going to the gym kind of whenever I want.
Yeah.
Going to class. I'm holding myself accountable to go to class and do homework. But
and as long as you're getting those things done, I think that's something that's overlooked, because a lot of people procrastinate. I'm one of them. And I mean, I know I've struggled with like going to lifts last year. I mean, I heard it from everyone. I was going to the gym on my own time where I wasn't going, and I think that's a lot of like my roommates are like that too. Like we don't really hold each other that accountable, and we're getting better at that, and we're working on it. We're still only sophomores, which is tough, but we had guys like Grady and some other guys last year that were really pushing us to get in the gym, and I think the whole narrative for our team has changed this year, which has been I think really helpful. And just again, I mean, you are going to be a captain this year, I imagine. I would have voted for you.
Thanks.
So that would have been pretty cool. But again, like you're gonna be a captain, you know, like you are a captain. You're the leader on this team
in a different way now.
Yeah,
you know, it's super.
Yeah, and everyone's always psyched to see you. I mean, you're a great guy to have around. And I think seeing you like pursue what you love, and seeing you like on this other path right now, and experiencing with like music and all the stuff you've been doing has been super cool to watch. And I know I've been following along with it, but you tell me anything a little bit more about that? Like,
so to be honest with you, like I've played piano my whole life. And over the past 4 years, I've gotten really serious about like songwriting, even though I don't necessarily share it, because that was like a super kind of like dissonant thing to have going on in my life. Like being so honed in on athletics, but then also having a pretty like creative mind that doesn't always fit the box of athlete. You know, I kind of like to think of myself as like a Troy Bolton of sorts.
Fair.
No, I'm kidding, but
Fair comparison.
but you know, I'm just writing songs, and I'm working on an EP right now, and I'm gonna release music, and
that's fire.
I'm going for it, you know.
Yeah,
because I might as well. It's like
might as well. I mean, that's why I'm doing this, and I think a lot of, like we talked about procrastination, I think a lot of this I worked on it all summer, just like getting it set up, picking the name, picking the logos, like getting all the drafts done, and recording like mock podcasts, practicing. And I see this clip all the time. It's like, I don't know what the guy's name is, but he's like, talking about the thing isn't doing it, preparing for the thing isn't doing it, all this. The only thing that is doing it is doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that like seeing that stuff on social media has pushed me and being like, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna do it. I don't care what anyone
Yeah.
else thinks. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, you know.
Yeah.
It's you got to do what you're passionate about and stick with it. And that's when you're gonna find out the things that you really love, or the things you do when you can do it in front of people and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's like that aspect of fear to it. Like, I'm sure you're anxious about the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think even myself, in a certain way, people want you to fail so bad when you're starting out, you know. And I love the guys that we hang out with, but like in a certain sense, everyone's cheering against each other. And like, this is your passion. Music's my passion. I don't think all the bros want to see us succeed in that, which makes me sad. But it's important to overcome and confront like that social aspect of trying something new and trying on like a new pair of shoes, bro. Yeah, just going for it's a beautiful thing, and it pisses people off, but you really just got to let it rip. And I think that's something super unique about what you're doing is like you said, you worked so hard over the summer to set this up, and you didn't just set up like the aesthetic of it. You set up like you put yourself into it and you inserted your personality and like your values. And I think that is something beautiful. And as much as like people might be like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, what is this fucking podcast? Like,
and
why are you talking about mental health?
Yeah,
it's like, bro,
and I got that.
You've experienced mental health. You've put yourself into this. This deserves to be a thing. You know, like I'm proud of you for like creating it. It's awesome.
I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on too.
Yeah,
this has been great.
I wanted to come on. I'm super excited.
This is good.
You should do a podcast with all the guys in the suite at some point.
That'd be pretty cool. We could do that.
Ben lives in a suite with five other bros.
Everyone is
super different.
Very different.
Unbelievably different.
And we're all best friends, and we fight a lot, but it's also fun, you know, living with your best friends. I think I talked to one of the seniors on the team, and he talked to me a lot about he hated living in the suite, but he said he learned so much just like having to have the discipline to live with that many guys and kind of just like worry about yourself. And he kept telling me this quote, and he kept saying, winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. Yeah. And I mean, it's true. Just like we were talking about. This is what I was going to say is a lot of those guys who are, you know, talking about you doing music, me doing the podcast, whatever it may be. Those guys are the same guys that are texting you and saying, hey man, like, this is great. I love what you're doing here. I support you. And then they're going behind your back and
talking to other bros,
saying stuff. Yeah. And I think that's a huge problem. Problem that like society is struggling with.
Yeah.
And it's because when everyone's like not on their phone and, you know, talking to each other and actually communicating, it's like mostly negative stuff when you really think about it. Yeah. There are those positive conversations, which I've had, and I've also had negative ones. You know, everyone's poking fun at each other. There's things that are funny, and then there's things that are just like you just took this way too far, and like I don't want to hear that. You know, and I think social media plays a huge impact in that. Just because, dude, it's so easy. Like even in our group chats, it's like
so toxic.
It's so toxic. It's like you can just send a picture of like one of your buddies doing some embarrassing thing, and like maybe it's funny to him. Maybe it isn't. You know, maybe that's something that really bothers him. And I think I do that. I know it's been done to me. Like that stuff sucks, and it's something that it'll eat at you if you let it. Yeah. And it's kind of another one of those things. Like just how I'm doing this podcast, and like people are gonna talk, you just gotta brush it off because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters, the only thing that matters is your perception of yourself and what your family thinks of you and what your friends think about you. Yeah. Because those are the people that really matter. Yeah. When it all comes down to things, it's all about relationships and
who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What were we talking about? Okay, boom, individual. There's like there's the social aspect to it's like pursuing your dreams, bro, and having a dream, and like as much as the conversations that are happening behind your back don't matter, like they matter in the sense that like they're happening, and oftentimes those are the people you surround yourself with. And I think that all of us, like every single person, talks behind other people's backs, and And there is like a social element to that, and it's kind of a weird thing that has happened for all of mankind's existence and will happen for all of mankind's existence. And I think especially in the environment that we are in right now, especially you being on a team, it's like a cockfight all the time. And I say that a lot, and people don't necessarily understand what I mean, but it's a complete like comparison environment. And I think that's what leads to all like the talking behind people's back and the subtle jabs and stuff like that.
It's a lot of subtle jabs.
So many subtle jabs, bro.
I'm definitely like I do that too.
I do it for sure.
When I'm living with these 5 guys, we all know everything about each other, and we all tell each other. I know I'm an oversharer. I mean,
I can be an oversharer.
We definitely overshare some things, but I think there's also things that you should overshare, because I think there's, again, we talk about the stigma behind mental health, like talking about this right here, talking about the things we're talking about is something that nobody talks about. And it's like, I've had close friends recently reach out to me like since starting this, and they've been like, this is awesome. Like I have, there's no, oh my God. Yeah. There's nowhere to talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like, everyone's dealing with the same stuff, you know? It's like, everyone has anxiety to a certain extent, and you can believe that whether you want to believe it or not. It's true, you know? And those people in your life that are pushing you down, and those people are battling. And people say that, but it's like, those people are battling. Most of the time there's someone in your life that's just struggling, and you can't tell. And I've had people reach out to me and they're like, I'm gonna start going to therapy. Or like, I had a really close friend of mine, and he was like, my mom won't let me see a therapist. And it's like, that's a problem, you know?
It is a problem.
Like, 19-year-old guy, you can't go and see a therapist. You can't go and talk to somebody about problems that, I mean, we're living in a world right now where there's a lot going on, and there's not necessarily a place to talk about all of it.
And I think a huge misconception is that like a lot of people think that talking about it is healing it, and I think that it isn't necessarily healing it, but the communal aspect of talking about it and sharing it with someone, even if they don't have an answer, even if there is no answer, finding community in that struggle and that shared experience is unbelievably powerful, you know? Like, and I think that even if your problems aren't solved through therapy, I'm not seeing a therapist right now. I've seen a bunch of therapists. There's something so powerful about verbalizing everything you're going through, you know, because it makes it real in a certain sense. Like the anxiety, the depression that exists in your head, like when you speak it, it's not necessarily out. Like it's not out there,
but it calms.
But it's out there, you know, like
it
becomes something that's like tangible and you can confront, you know. Whereas if you're holding it in there,
that's when it
just fucking holding it. You're not gonna solve it yourself, you know. You gotta like express it in a certain way.
And I think there's people that you should express it to, and there's people you shouldn't express it to, and you gotta know your audience when you're talking about some serious stuff. Like I know, like with my close friends, I'm very open with them about what I go through and what I experience. And this summer, I had a really, really tough couple weeks. I know I called you, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. And it was just like a battle in my own head. And there was people that I talked to that it really helped, and there was people that I talked to that it didn't help at all. And you got to have the right people around you, and that's all. Again, that like comes back to just surrounding yourself with the right people, and bro, you're gonna become like the people you surround yourself with, no matter what.
And you got like a certain aspect of like surrounding yourself with people is like, you can surround yourself with anyone. The reality is no one can like know you. You know, people can try and know you, people can try and understand the like entirety of your experience and your reality, but like that, even if you told me everything that happened in your life, you know, even if I witnessed everything that happened in your life, it would still be jaded through my own perspective, right? It's like once removed. So trying to understand people is a powerful thing, but it's also impossible, and
I can't feel the things that you felt.
Yeah,
I can't.
You can see what I felt,
exactly.
but you don't know the reality of that feeling. Yeah. It's like one domain removed.
Yeah, I can see you walking to the locker room, feeling all that emotion.
Yeah,
but I can't feel that emotion.
Yeah.
When you're talking to us, telling us that you can no longer play lacrosse. So I can watch that, and you can even watch it on Juwan's documentary, and everyone out there can watch that, but no one can feel it.
Yeah,
and that's
everyone's experience. Like you're gonna be so misunderstood because you can't be understood. Yeah. And like that's okay though.
Yeah.
And
it's
okay to acknowledge that. Yeah. You're not gonna make sense all the time.
No.
I'm gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
People are gonna think what we do is weird or it's irrational or whack, but it's like, we're all misunderstood. You know?
I think so. And I think
it'd be a shame if we were all understood, bro. Like, takes the mystery out of life, takes the passion out of it, Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing and it hurts, but it's nice that no one can fully understand you.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even your family either. It's
bro.
Having this perception, you have this perception of yourself, right? That's what you think about yourself.
Yeah.
I have a perception of you. That's what I think about you.
Yeah.
But say someone else who lives here, they probably have a completely different perception of you than I do.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the conversations that we've had, the interactions that we've had, what I've seen you go through, what I've gone through, what I've told you.
Yeah.
Like our relationship is completely different than anyone else's relationship, And it's
for sure.
And it's like that in every single scenario with any person that you're close with. And I think that's special. I think that gives a lot of mystery and
color,
keeps things real.
It puts a color in life.
Yeah. And I feel like even when I'm around you, the phone thing, we're never on our phones when we're talking, And I think that's when I see you, especially now that we're not around each other all the time, it's a privilege to be around you. I'm psyched to be around you. I feel good about what we're talking about. I have things that I look forward to telling you. I texting you over the summer about stuff, and that's special. That's those are the things that I cherish, and that's just what helps build relationships.
Yeah.
And I think people take that for granted a lot, and it sucks, but
yeah, I think we've built a really cool relationship because it's not
no, it's different.
It's super different. It's
we've had our ups and downs too.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. We've had our confrontations.
Maybe in the elevator.
The elevator that one time.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day.
Bro, I thought you might swing on me for a second.
Oh my God, I was so mad. Whoa, cut that.
Yeah. It's okay. Don't cut it, bro. It's all good.
Happens.
Yeah, we all have.
I was not gonna swing. Who was out there? It was
me.
It was Lando, right?
It was me, you, and Lando. Yeah.
I was pissed.
You were heated.
John was saying something.
Yeah, it was just a moment of different perspectives that couldn't necessarily coexist at the same time.
No, definitely not. I don't even know what you were doing. I don't think you did anything. You were just
I was trying to just bridge the gap.
Yeah, I think you were trying to get me.
I don't know what I was trying to do.
I was not.
Obviously, there's men's stigma with mental health, and as society becomes more accepting of men and mental health, I think you're capitalizing on that, and I think that you're inserting yourself, and I think that's a powerful thing, bro. Having dudes on here and just ripping it up and kind of tearing down those barriers is super important.
I mean, that's my goal with this whole thing. It's gonna start off small, and hopefully we build something that can, I just want to build something that a place where people can come on and talk, and whether I bring on a bunch of my friends first before I get psychiatrists and psychologists on, that's a struggle. I didn't think that it would actually be as hard as it was, and I reached out to a bunch of people, and not that you were my first choice, but it's just cool. I had a vision and I had to change it a little bit just due to whatever, and just how things worked out.
We got
a train coming.
Let's go.
It's not as loud. It's not as close.
It's not going as fast.
Yeah.
It still look cool though.
Yeah, it Still looks cool.
There's a bro on the train. Little wave.
That's cool. What was I saying?
Have another like psychiatrist.
Oh yeah. So, like guests that I'm gonna be bringing on, I think it's cool. Like, you're just my friend, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like cool to like shoot the shit with you and talk about stuff that really matters. And
Yeah.
I think whether I do this and get 0 views, I could care less.
Yeah.
You know, having this conversation with you and
special moment.
talking
Special moment.
about real stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, something that is overlooked. And people are so distracted with whatever it may be that's going on right now, the election, football. I mean, football is huge.
It's fucking huge.
It's
bro.
pretty sick this year.
Election,
too.
football,
college football is
girls.
pretty sick right now. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
So much going on. Oh my god.
There's a lot going on. And I think we go to a school that is leaning very much one way, and I think it makes you feel like you're in a little bit of a bubble.
You are. We are in a bubble, bro.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And I think that it's been 5,000 people to go to the school, and you see probably only the same 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Because it's like
same schedule.
Yeah, same schedule every day. And then you got all the older kids that are going to classes at night.
Yep.
It's like 6 to 10. It sounds pretty
brutal.
Sounds terrible.
It's kind of fun though. It can be fun.
Oh yeah, you're
I'm in one of those
senior, so I mean,
doing that whole
crazy.
thing.
Well, I guess what? No.
Second
You're
semester junior.
Yeah.
So it's whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about leading up to like when you talk to the team about not playing anymore. You like walk me through that day, like and then walk me through afterwards.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, okay. I made sure to set something up afterwards, and I went to go and get dinner with someone, and I made sure that I was going to set something up to do after that because
can't sit by yourself that night.
Yeah, it's just like I want to take my mind off it after I rip the Band-Aid off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember being at that practice, and I was mic'd up and shooting on the goalies and doing all the stuff I usually do. And then everybody went in the locker room, calling me. He was like, we're going to have a little talk. And I low-key, like, when everyone was going in, I, like, went outside real quick, catch my breath because
that's when it hits you too.
Yeah,
I know you
came
came in there showing a little bit of emotion.
Yeah. I was crying outside. Colin Beanie came out. Colin Beanie is the head coach.
Yeah. For people who don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if he won't see this. He might see it.
Maybe he will. Maybe I'll send it to him.
Yeah. But he came and gave me 30 seconds, just us two. And I went in there, and it's like breaking up with like the love of your life, you know?
Yeah. One that you've had longer than any
girlfriend I've ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, be the same for me. Playing since we were 6 years
16
old.
years of lacrosse in my life, and then it's gone. Yeah, I don't know. I spoke from the heart a little bit, you know. It was pretty straight on. And I don't know. It was nice to feel the community in the room, you know, and sharing your personal experience. Like, it was a vulnerable thing, and I'm a vulnerable guy, and it was a beautiful moment. And you know, I think that other guys in the room probably felt that. Other guys probably were like,
I was crying.
Yeah. Other guys were like, this is fucking stupid. This is soft, you know? And
I didn't get a lot of that, but
I don't know. I don't want to get into like the politics of it.
Yeah.
And how different people reacted to that moment. But
it's a decision you had to make for yourself.
I mean,
in the grand scheme of things, like you talked about earlier, like it's just gonna be better, I think. I think you're getting a jump start on who you really are, and like, finding out your identity is huge at this point in your life, because you have, again, like 20 years of people telling you do this, do that, and this will happen. Yeah. And it's just, and now you have all that like gone.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is you, this is what you want to do, to go do it.
Yeah. It's been so different to have that freedom for sure.
Yeah.
It's scary. And like I said, bro, like I made that decision and I've made that decision and I'm not I'm not gonna come back.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come back and
That's
I'm
the
not
right thing to
gonna
do.
I'm not gonna come and like be a player coach. Because I can't be around it, like
Yeah. Makes it so
it's
much
like
harder.
it's like breaking up with a girlfriend and she's like still your best friend, you still hang out with her every day. Like I can't do that because I would find a way to come back. And I know that even though the decision that I've made isn't justified yet and it hasn't it's just not justified yet. Like I made that decision and I haven't gotten the benefits of making that decision yet. I know that I got to be disciplined to the decision I made because later in life it will be justified, and
it'll impact.
I can't like come back and be around it because the temptation is like, I'd find a way, like, I'd find a doctor, I'd find someone to clear me.
And that's it's tough.
It is tough, but it's the right decision, even though it's not the right decision right now.
Again, I think
gotta wait on it, be patient with it.
I think you'll take it, and I think you'll learn from it. And I honestly think it's going to be one of the best decisions you've made. I think I'm going to call you in 10 years and ask you. I'm going to say, and I guarantee you'll say, yes, that was the right decision for me. Yeah. Doing whatever you're doing. You're a guy that's like, I know you're going to be successful. And seeing that is just enough for me to be like, hey, he's going to be good. Yeah. Like, I don't worry about you too much because it's like, obviously I do worry, but I don't worry about you too much because I know like you're an independent guy. Like you're a guy you were holding me accountable last year. I can't imagine you're not holding yourself accountable now. Like all these things that you've taught yourself over the years and that you've taken away, like you've implemented them into your everyday life. Yeah. And I think that's something that is very powerful. And I think it's something that is very hard to do, especially when you're 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. It's 21-year-old kid. Yeah. Like you're still a kid until you graduate college and
even when you graduate, you're still a kid, bro.
I would say until you're like 35. married.
Even then, like
kid.
you never lose that. No, you never lose the kid part of you. And
I always wonder that.
I mean, it's like getting old is playing pretend, bro. It's like things are getting old is playing pretend, and it's playing pretend that things are better or worse than they have been. Yeah. It's always the same, but it's always the same, bro. Yeah. It's like
seeing how your parents like act, like if you really think about it, you're like
they're still kids. Yeah, bro.
Exactly.
Like I love my mom and dad. They're the most mature people I know, but
I agree. Kids. I agree. Like I don't know, my parents can be a little bit intense sometimes, but like I definitely see it more because it's like they're way different than they were when I was 7, 8 years old, and now I'm 19 and I can talk to them about all these
drinking
things.
With you. It's like, well, not you, me though.
Not me.
I'm 21.
I'm not. So I haven't experienced that yet, but it's just I think it's something so interesting to think about. Is like this is your parents' first time living. Like, they're living life just like you are. It's just they've lived a little bit longer than you, and they have a little bit more.
They're just hardened, bro. Like there's so much experience in like age is a construct, but like the experience that they have has made them so hardened and justified in who they are that like they don't seem like kids all the time. But you're right, like it's their first go. Like they're equally fucking around and finding out like we are. They've already done what we've mostly done. But still kids, bro.
And maybe they've done things that we haven't done, and we've done things that they haven't done. And I think
for sure
that's also a mystery of it because I've definitely like talked to my parents. I've been like, oh, like I just did this, and they're like, oh, that's super cool. I've never done that, and it's like now they have that experience that they're looking for because I did it, And I think that's a cool way to like live through somebody and experience.
And I think that like that speaks like to a certain aspect of our generation too. Is like. With I'll say technology, and I mean social media and phones and all the stuff like that, the constant noise, like we are definitely having a new human experience that our parents can try and understand, but like there is something completely unique about what we're going through relative to our parents growing up, and there is that miscommunication sometimes. Like like you said, like our experiences won't match up, and there is miscommunication there. And the parents are wise, but they don't know everything.
No, they
like
don't.
we said.
No, they don't. Not even your grandparents know everything.
Yeah.
And it's like you think you do when
Bro,
you're growing
and
up,
that's
and they don't.
Yeah, and I think I have a really interesting relationship with my grandparents because I'm such a product of this time that we live in, and like all the noise that our generation has experienced. Like I'm in that,
and they're blind
bowl,
to it.
and they don't fully understand the reality of the human experience because they haven't experienced our experience that we're experiencing.
Yeah.
So my relationship with my grandparents is like oftentimes there's like a lot of confrontation.
Yeah.
And subtle confrontation because
subtle. I see the same
we
thing
don't
in my
understand life and making decisions and growing up and being an individual in the same way at all. And it's like, and it's just important to acknowledge that that's like okay, and and their reality is different from our reality, and it's okay. And if you can speak through that, you can compromise, and you can have relationships with people that you disagree with on massive levels, specifically with the election right now. Like if people can find the shared experience in the fact that their experiences are totally unique, you can speak through the static, and you can compromise and find shared experiences in other people and have productive conversations.
Having a productive conversation, especially right now with everything that's going on, and there's some sort of divide in the country right now, and I think especially with our age group, there's a lot of pressure on us to vote a certain way, and I think it's impacted me and I've wanted to learn more about what's going on, but I think being able to have that conversation, about experience and about like being able to relate to somebody.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing to do. When I'm meeting somebody new, I immediately you have the 4 questions. Where are you from? What's your name? Blah, blah,
Who do
all
you
that
know?
stuff.
Classic
Yeah,
one.
exactly. Who do you know?
Game.
And then you bring up that person, maybe you bring up something that they did recently. And then they're like, oh, maybe I want to go do that. And then you're like, oh, I would go do that too. And then, new friend. That's
it's so
how
easy.
simple it is.
It's so easy.
But it's so, or now it's like you add someone on Snapchat. Like you add a girl on Snapchat. It's like you can have a conversation with some random girl you've never even met. And I think,
and you can find something shared.
It's so
with anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone.
And I think that's such a cool, we talk about like the differences in social media. Like that's a cool part about social media is that you can reach out to anyone and have a conversation. And I think talking about your grandparents, like they didn't have that. They're the way they grew up and what they went through is so much different. Like we're talking about like World War II. They're alive during that. Like friends of theirs getting drafted. And it's like that's much different to right now. Very, 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 very
so different, bro.
And we're worrying about all these like little things that aren't really affecting us that much, and we're dwelling on them. And
they had much bigger shit going on.
It's a problem.
And I think that a part of that is like they had bigger shit going on, but although that World War II existed and the draft and whatever bigger problems like civil rights and women's equality, all that stuff that's going on, is going on, but the phone, like, it's hyper. It's like right there in your face. It's boom, 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 boom. It's saying it all the time,
5-6 hours a day.
And I think that repetitive nature of social media is kind of what leads to like an increase in the mental health and anxiety that is seen today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird, bro.
So weird. I think a way that I've been thinking about it recently, it's kind of been freaking me out a little bit, but the fact that there's like record of everything. Like our parents, even our parents never experienced that.
Yeah.
There is a record of every single thing you've ever searched up, everything you've ever looked at, everything you've ever done. Like there is videos and pictures of everything now. And even like what you see on your phone, like it's crazy.
It's unreal.
It's crazy. Everything like listens to you.
Yeah, bro.
This, like, I talk about things all the time, and it freaks me out because I'm hearing it. I'm not. I
Then
talk
the ad
about
pops
it.
up.
The ad pops up, and it's like
So nuts.
you look at it for 30 seconds, you'll see that ad 30 more times.
Yeah.
And if you look at it for too long, it just comes right back up.
I've gotten to the point, bro, where I'm just thinking about something.
Yeah.
I'm literally like not verbalized. There's no way that the phone is hearing it in like an ad or like a specified suggested Instagram post pops up to that. And it's like they've totally it's super evil in the sense that like that is a commodity. Like
lose your privacy.
Yeah, like what do they call well, first off, they call social media users like drug users, like because it is a drug, but also like the fact that we're a product, bro, is
all of society.
It's so scary. Yeah. And they got us. Yeah. They got us down to like a T, bro. Like they know what we're doing. Yeah, I'm hooked also. I've deleted Snapchat. I got off TikTok. I don't ever use TikTok, but like Instagram's got me, bro. Like
exactly.
And I gotta break out of there. I gotta find a way to break out of there. But it's tough because it's a tough dynamic because it's such a part of living right now. And the social aspect of it is like if you take off, like you don't have Instagram, you don't have social media, you're kind of alienated in that way and you can't communicate. And it's like it's such a part of the game that you gotta have it.
Yeah, you have to have it. You're isolating yourself from everyone else. And you were a reason I deleted TikTok, and I just downloaded it recently to post some clips for the podcast. But I re-downloaded it, and I was just looking through like my messages, and I was like, look at all these videos my friends sent me that I missed. Yeah. And then I was like, wow, I don't care. Like, I'm sure they were funny. Like, no offense.
They are awesome.
No offense to anyone who sent me anything, but
it doesn't mean.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's not giving me anything. I didn't lose something from not seeing those videos. The only thing I gained was time. Yeah. And time is everything. Yeah. Like, time is our priority. Yeah. Like, I'm fighting for time every day. And I want to spend as much time with like the people I love and doing the things that I care about the most. That's what I want to spend my life doing, Yeah. And college has helped me realize that a lot. Yeah. And being here with a bunch of guys who I walked in here and it's a family, you know? And I think we talk about guys talking behind each other's back. I don't think there's a single guy on our team, in our family, for that matter, coaches included. I don't think there's anybody that I could reach out to and they wouldn't help.
They would help.
Every single guy. I mean, we're a small squad. We got 22 guys or something like that this year. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. 3 coaches. Out of those 25 people, I know I could turn around, talk to them about anything, send a text. They're there. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. Like I have guys supporting me, and that's what's carried me to this point. That's why I'm still here. That's why I am where I am in my life, is because of the people that I've surrounded myself with and the people that I've had the privilege to surround myself with, to be honest. So
like the people in the community that is in competition and sports is like, you never get that anywhere else.
No, it's different.
Like it's people that are like fucking there for you, ride or dies, even though they're chirping you and there's subtle jabs, they're talking about you behind your back. Like, they truly, like, everyone's got you. And I think that's a certain thing that like Colin Beanie, although he has his struggles as a coach, like we all have our struggles, I think he's really set up a really great community full of really good characters, and
that's what drew me here.
Yeah, and I think that as much as sports is about winning and growing as an athlete, like I actually had a conversation with the athletic director like 3 days ago, but like that's what it's about, bro. Like, good character and good community, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm freezing right now, bro. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like trying not to shiver. I wonder if like you can tell that I'm shivering.
No, I'm worried about the door hitting
the door's been hitting it.
It's probably gonna look a little shaky.
It's all
good.
It's
been hitting it, moving it a lot, or not?
It has, but I don't know how.
Landon will.
I think it'll be like boom. I don't know if it'll really affect it that much.
All right, hopefully not.
Yeah,
but I think we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah, bro.
I'm psyched. Hopefully I have you on again at some point.
I'd love to be on.
Yeah. I mean, this has been great. I think this has been fun.
I want to be there when you guys do like a sweet podcast.
Yeah. You can record it if you want. We'll do it. We'll set it up.
Gotta do that. It'd be so fun.
It would be fun.
It'd be hilarious, too. There'd be some funny moments in there.
Oh, jeez.
God bless.
Yeah.
More strep throat.
Yeah. Strep's been a problem.
Yeah. How'd you get that strep, man?
I always get it. I literally get it. I've had it 3 times in the last like 6 months. Yeah. It's terrible.
A whole lot of strep.
Supposed to get my tonsils removed. Didn't do it. What are you gonna do? All right, but thank you guys. That wraps up this episode. Hopefully we'll get one out pretty soon.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Tough to tap up with the mics right there, but
pretty tough. All right. Thank you guys.
Bye.